Racism is taught, bro. We're not born with it. Like, people are not born with racism, bro. It's taught. So it's also the parenting, bro, and the system.
Thank you.
It's everything, bro.
Firstly, I'd like to thank everyone for coming in tonight. This is WonderX Productions' first video, and you all will be the first guests to appear on our channel. Round of applause all around. You will be asked a multitude of questions, but every 5 minutes, you all must take a shot. Is everyone ready to begin?
Woo!
Yeah.
Let's start with everyone saying their name starting from the left.
My name's June.
I'm Sarah.
I'm Sheenu.
I'm Ezekiel.
Kim.
Name's Ryan.
Okay, to begin, let's have a shot.
Cheers, everybody.
Where and when were you born?
I was born in Oakland and Kaiser in downtown.
I was born in Walnut Creek.
I was actually not born in America. I was born in India in '98.
I was born in Modesto in '94.
I was born in Hayward in '94.
I was born in Stockton in '95.
What is your full ethnicity?
I'm full on black.
I'm full Egyptian.
I'm full on Indian.
I'm full Mexican.
I am Filipino, Black, Chinese, and German.
Full white. Caucasian.
Cheers.
Everyone got a shot.
Do you feel connected to your heritage being born in America?
Yes, my parents made it very necessary for us to learn our mother tongue for the exact reason of staying connected to our heritage. My grandparents don't speak English, half my family back home doesn't speak English, and although I've only met them every here and there, every few years, they made it very vital for us to know the language that we're speaking, where it comes from, just to be able to connect.
For me, it was more of staying connected also with language, being Spanish my first language, and also being in a community, whether it be at church or at school, mostly kids that are either bilingual or just first generation.
We do make a point to, stay connected as a family, but most of my cousins, most of us can't really speak Arabic. We understand it, but we can't really communicate. So my grandparents learned English to communicate with us. That way there wouldn't be too much of a barrier.
When I was growing up, I knew how to speak Tagalog, but then when I started school, my parents started talking to me more in English. So then I think it's because they didn't want me to get made fun of or who knows what. And so over time, I couldn't speak as much. Now I fully understand, but for me to talk fluently is really hard. So I still feel pretty connected, but it's just, I wish there was a little bit more.
I know nothing about my heritage to keep it 100.
I don't have one. You want to take a shot? I want to skip it. My bad. I got
They paid me?
I sure fucking hope so. Cheers. If you could be another race for a year, which would you choose and why?
I would be Salvadorian, but it's more to understand my boyfriend's family and their heritage.
I never really thought about this. Who just thinks
You
I want to be
wouldn't
white?
change it.
I wish I was white. Alright.
But why?
Well, because I feel like you guys get all the rights. You guys can get away with murder, literally.
Whoa.
I don't know.
I would say Filipino.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's so
Why?
funny you say that.
I would say Filipino because growing up Indian, a lot of things aren't accepted in just the culture in general. And when I moved here, there's such a diverse community, but there's a lot of Filipinos. And I noticed that they're so accepting within their families. They're accepting towards their kids, their relationships, their whatever, they're very accepting. And they're just fun people, You guys have good food, you guys are loud, you guys are fun.
That's so funny you say that because I was going to say probably Punjabi or Mexican. But because for you guys, both of your cultures, I was you guys are so lively. Family holds are really strong. Food's bomb. So that's so cool.
Black. Why? I don't. It's just black is beautiful, man.
I'd probably say either black or Mexican. Mexican basically for the points that she pointed out, like with the culture and food and how they treat everyone, like they treat everyone like family, you know. Black, you know, athletic ability. I want to rap too.
I want to help her though. Okay. Who let him in here?
If you had to completely switch ethnicities, which would you choose? Y'all wasn't prepared for that one.
No.
We didn't say why, so I'm just gonna say Mexican, and that's it.
Hey, I'm gonna have to go with Mexican too.
No
I would say
explanation.
Mexican too.
Mexican or Salvadoran would be my first choice.
He said I'm gonna stay me.
Guatemalteco from Guatemala. Yeah.
I don't know, probably Mexican. It's a really
Okay.
good one. Because I like the music, I like the food.
All of our faces are just like,
Yeah. What did you say? Yeah. Oh, okay, cheers.
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 Like now you're joining the party.
Is there pressure you feel in any aspect relating to your race?
yes. I feel like I need to end up super successful, owning a business, living up to my Punjabi name, you know? So it's definitely a lot of pressure there.
Same with like Filipinos, to be the best you can be and on
A
top.
nurse.
Yes. Okay, mom.
Just me going to college is already a blessing, and I mean, yeah, I'm just trying to prove the numbers wrong.
Yes, I do. Because we were, you know, set up to fail, you know,
Yeah.
especially because, you know, slavery, you know. So I feel like our like ancestors and everybody, like especially our grandmothers, would want us to like do better, or Martin Luther King or whoever, you know, want us to do better. So I say yes.
How do you feel about Donald Trump?
Trash. I'm sorry, it's
Just came out instant reaction.
if somebody would ask me how the devil looks like, it's him, man. Honestly, has shown a lot, just something that a human being wouldn't even do. It just shows you also how big the community for white supremacy is, and we don't even see that. They're hiding, but they're out there. So, yeah.
I would say he lives up to the saying of ignorance is bliss, because he gets away with basically everything. He gets away with essentially terrorism, legal terrorism. There is no justification for having people locked away in cages, you know. That's
Especially
literally
children.
That's like
Especially
Hitler and the Nazi era. Like that's literally what's going on. He has people out here, ICE, that you can't do anything to defend yourself against.
Separating families ain't American at all. And also the people that are immigrating here, they're doing it for purposely
Exactly. Their
Sending
countries
money.
are way worse.
sending money to their family. That's American.
Yeah.
That's the American way.
They're literally unsafe in their home countries and coming here for
Exactly.
security,
Exactly.
only to have their life threatened.
And that's what they did in the 1600s, so why can't they do it now?
I mean, you know the YG song, you know. I really don't fuck with him. And, I mean, you know, obviously, I'm not personally affected by, you know, all of his bullshit, but a lot of my best friends are. So that's why I really don't fuck with him at all.
I feel like living in California, it's such a diverse state that you don't really think about what goes on elsewhere. I feel like even just in the city, like it's such a diverse bubble that it does kind of come as a shock to see kind of how everyone else is acting out there, but it's also like it's just been there, but it's had this nice little blanket over it, and he came and was like, no, we're gonna fuck up the bed and flip it over.
This is my bed.
Yeah, essentially, like, we made the bed and he decided,
Yeah.
I don't want to lay in it, and flipped it over.
I don't like him. I mean, like Ryan said, he didn't really affect him, but he has affected like a lot of people that I know. I know that he's really fucking up America. Like he's like they're saying that he's doing it like better, but he's really not. So
The quote, "Make America Great
make
Again."
America great again. Yeah. So.
Salud. Salud.
Would you ever move back to where your family originated from?
No. They're too strict. I was raised, like I said, very Americanized, so I couldn't walk out in a t-shirt and jeans. Like, the shape of my body, there's women that just get stabbed for walking out of the house because their body shape looks a certain way. So for safety purposes and for political purposes, I would never go to that country.
Is that in Egypt in general, or?
Yeah, so the government there monitors everything. Anything you post on social media, Facebook is monitored. Like, I have family that can't enter back into the country or they'll be imprisoned because they don't agree with the government.
I could never move back to where my family came from. Well, like she said, I couldn't walk out in this outfit without getting stared at, without getting taken, essentially. They have very paternalistic point of views, and I'm not a person not to say I have an issue doing anything for my boyfriend, but it shouldn't be expected of me, it shouldn't be an obligation, which is seen in a lot of ethnic families, you know, Hispanics. It's just like, okay, the man makes the money and the woman makes the food.
And the babies.
Ha! There you go. And there you go. And I'm just like, I was made for more than that.
Actually, I don't really have a reason why I don't really want to go back there. Is because I'm.
It's just because all you know is here.
All you know is
Right. That's exactly what I was gonna say. That's crazy. Just the words right out of my mouth.
He's comfortable where he's at.
that time. It's just like
Why
18
not?
minutes, bro.
Cheers. Have you ever been discriminated against based on your ethnicity?
All the time. All the time.
All the motherfucking time.
I was in the BMW and an officer pulled me over and like the first thing he asked me was, "Who car is this?"
They'll think you're a fucking drug dealer and
Like
shit.
an 04, 03 or something.
No,
like
it was a BMW like a 99.
With like cool rims and like super.
No,
and
everything
he
was
still
fucking
asked you
stopped.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
He still put you over.
You know when we play basketball?
Oh, this white man came through. He's actually pretty good.
They think white boy can't play?
Can't play.
Right, and I just want to let everybody know that's on this camera that is a false. That's a false statement. Like he can actually.
How do you end racism?
By being accepting of those who are around you.
Being open-minded.
Not seeing anything as a race.
Yo, equality, bro. Like, equality.
It's a person. It's a fucking
Yeah.
person. Has a heart, has a brain, body like yours.
Exactly.
Fucking same thing. Why would you think anything different? They feel sad, they feel happy, they feel the same fucking things you do in different circumstances. Why would you treat them any fucking different?
If it's not personally affecting you in a negative way, why are you gonna say something about it?
The only way to really end racism is if, like, because
Kill all
I mean,
the racists.
Well, not just that. Even like
No, seriously.
racism is taught, bro. We're not born with it. Like people are not born with racism, bro. It's taught. So it's also the parenting, bro, and the system.
Thank you.
And everything, bro.
Is there a race that has it the easiest in terms of life opportunities, racism, and avoiding repercussions?
Sorry, Ryan.
it's obviously black. No, just no. Nah, for surely white people, man. We all know this. If you don't think white privilege exists, man, you're just blinded. Like, you're really blinded.
I'm not gonna say anything, bro. He answered it.
Is there a race that has it the worst and why?
I don't think that there's
That's
one
right.
race that has it the worst.
Really?
I think,
Really?
That's just no, because realistically,
Why?
there's no worse
I'm
because
sorry.
it's different mind space from different.
For every ethnicity.
Right, right. So
just actually realistically.
why do you think it's black?
Do you
why?
not
What the fuck?
I think that black people are, like, I don't think it's,
Do you watch the news a lot?
I do, and I
Okay.
think that they
So-
discriminate against Indians a lot as well.
I do see some Indians being fucking targeted and things like I read
Or Muslims.
a few months. Yes.
Yes.
That's what I meant to say.
Muslims and black people.
Yeah.
I think Muslims
For
and
lack
black
of
people.
better explanation.
So this
Yes,
is the
because I think right now with Donald Trump being the president,
Yeah.
Muslims are feeling just as oppressed as.
I feel equal with him.
So
And
I
fuck,
think
even
it's.
Mexicans.
Oh, no.
I would say people of
Mexican-
ethnic backgrounds.
just brown people,
Anything.
period.
Yeah.
How would you describe your experience as an American?
I haven't had any, I would like to say any difficult
situations during my life, but I have had some type of racial slurs, but I didn't let them affect me to a point where like I just moved on forward with my life.
I grew up in San Jose, so it's very, very diverse with a lot of ethnicities, some of which I had never even heard of. But you definitely do face a lot of, not discrimination in a sense, because I was 16 when I moved from there, so there's only so much you can say to up till a 16-year-old kid. But there are some things that sit with you, you know, and I remember at one point it was just like, well, I didn't want to be Indian because it was just like, okay, well, if it's so much of an issue, then I'd rather just like act whitewash, you know? Why not? Why not? I can't speak the language. No, you can't prove it, you know? So it was just, I guess it does take a toll on your liking for your...
happened.
It sucks.
It shouldn't have
definitely
to.
sucks because
It
for the
really
longest
shouldn't.
time I was just like in the middle. Well, do
Yeah.
I accept like, because San Jose is very Hispanic dominant, you know?
Yeah,
That's how I
of
learned how to
course.
speak Spanish because I grew up with
Of course.
friends that were from
I
Guatemala,
applaud you for fucking
Mexico.
learning that. That's
Yeah,
some
dude.
type
It just
shit.
if you're around it enough, it comes.
course.
So it was always like, well, do I accept this culture more? Like these people are just so much more accepting of me. You know, I was like, oh, the India in the group. You know, everybody was like, oh, well, you're so foreign and exotic. And then there were like my own people, which are. It was just like, okay, well, which are you choosing? And then there's just everyone else. It's like, oh, well, you're Indian. You're like the outcast. But it's like,
No.
outcast of what? America has so many different ethnicities, so many people of so many cultures. So you can't be an outcast.
I feel like the shit pot got stirred because I was born here, but 9/11 happened. So I remember even going through high school and people would yell terrorists down the hall. Like, I don't know who you are. Obviously I'm not doing something like that. So I do feel like I do face a lot of discrimination for that. Just everyone assumes that all of us do the same thing, opposed to this small minority of people that are like, hey, let me go batshit crazy.
A lot of people are like afraid of change. That's why. Like when they see change in something like that's different than they're not used to, they freak out.
There's a lot of people who don't think like a lot of white people that don't think white privilege is a thing. Like, they get offended when they hear that,
Oh, that doesn't
They
happen.
don't know what racism is,
and
bro.
it's like
They don't.
I mean they just think like, yo, I worked so hard for what I got. Like
Every
white
race
privilege
does.
doesn't exist. It's like, no.
Every country.
Obviously, white people work hard for what they got,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
but they don't have to work as hard.
I was at a young age. I was raised in a hopeful household. I had so many high hopes for everything, and as I'm getting older now, like I see all these situations and experiences and just history about all these. It's just a terrible world that we live in. But I thought it was all rainbow, bro, and that's the reason why I am the way that I am. I spread love, but like it's not like that anymore. It never has been.
I take a blessing to everything that I take in that's actually bad, so I can learn from it.
Yeah.
And then I progress from it. Like, so me personally, like I ain't got no problem with it. The shit that Donald Trump be doing, all that other extra shit that be going on, like it really don't affect me.
But
or
what
my
if it
family
did affect you?
that I'm focused on.
You gotta pick your battles.
Like I'm focused on my family and everything that's good. Like as far as like me being American, that shit ain't faze me. Like I know what I gotta do to get to where I need to go.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're off to our final shot. And then next is the final question.
Cheers, last one.
How do you feel after this experience?
I really, really like it. I'm glad you got all these people together. I enjoy like listening in general to like every other culture, every other person, because honestly we all go through different things and there's some things we go through together. I'm really glad I participated in this. Thank you.
Like you literally brought us all together. We are
Ah,
all like,
different
raised,
ethnicities.
like definitely like
I
didn't
was
expect
confused
this.
when you
Like,
had
I was like, I didn't
Honestly,
expect
I feel like half of them didn't fuck with me at the beginning, but then when we
I just appreciate more of my blessings and also just appreciate more of like things that I haven't gone through because of maybe they went through because of my ethnicity. But overall, like it also just opened up my mind even more.
You get to kind of hear what everybody else goes through, something that, you know, Kim might go through, I might not. So it really makes you appreciate like all the different perspectives that everybody else goes through, and kind of opens your mind to situations that you wouldn't see yourself being put in.
I'm glad the entire panel is of different ethnicities. and I'm glad we all started off as already open-minded, because all of us, all human beings, go through so many similar things in different ways, and so many different things in the same exact way. And I feel like that's exactly what brings us all together.
We like not only just like expressed our feelings, but like you know how like when you like in English class how they make you draw that big bubble and then they
Those
then
two
the
bubbles,
we all have like a main problem that we have like it's the same thing but we all have different like
Yeah.
but it's a
diagram?
yes, exactly.
Two circles and then they
exactly how
come
I
in
feel.
the middle with like same problems and shit and same.
That's how I feel. Like I didn't think it was smart. Like this nigga is like a genius. Like who would have thought of some shit like this?
Yeah.
Jam.
I fucks with applause.
Good job.
Shout out to WonderX.
Get your track today.
I don't know like Donald Trump yet. Hey, cause he's a bitch, bro.